Hi there, thank you for your essays. Now let's have a look at your essay about democracy first, and then we'll have a look at your letter about luggage. So nowadays, some argue that democracy is under its biggest threat, some argue that it's due to global capital markets, and so on. Okay, so before I begin, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that you see all these words underlined in red in my Microsoft Word. This means one thing, they are um, spelled incorrectly or they are completely different words. For example, electables instead of electorate here. Nowadays is not spelled correctly. Opinion, monetary, program, dominance, often, not oftenly, agenda, not agendas, not agents, and so on. So I would like to remind you that spelling is still a very important factor in the real exam. And if you have way too many spelling errors, it's going to affect your band score considerably. So make sure that you always proofread and correct whatever you can correct. And always pay attention to how the um, task is written because some of the words that you will inevitably have to reuse already spelled correctly there, so you don't have to worry that you don't know how to write them. Now let's go. In recent times, debate of democracy is facing fatal danger is on the rise. I would rephrase this. In recent times, the debate that democracy is facing fatal danger is on the rise. Um, and I would either put a semicolon or a comma or start a new sentence here. A group of people advocate that due to global financial markets, the electorate, this word, not this one, have no control over their administration. Okay. I think that this opinion, and the spelling is, the spelling of the word opinion is right in essence, as there are outside forces which are curtailing the governance space of a democratic government to deliver as per their party's manifesto. Oh, lots of sophisticated words, but make sure that you're clearly understood. I'm not sure that I completely understand what you mean. I can see that you have your opinion formulated clearly. Great. Uh, but you say that there are outside forces, so you mostly agree that it's about the corporations. Um, they're curtailing the governance space. I would say they're curtailing the power of a democratic government to deliver as they had promised per their party's manifesto, something like this. This is a bit excessive. Okay, capital markets such as in International Monetary, spelled like this, Fund, IMF, or the World Bank were established to support countries to avoid default and keep smooth sailing um, in their times of financial crunch. But often, it has been observed that such institutions have their own agendas or political motives which get dominance, to obtain, which is to obtain um, obtain dominance, beg your pardon, dominance of a local government. I would use aspirations. Or I don't understand how you use the word aspirations here. That's another thing. Okay. Um, well, I wouldn't call International Monetary Fund or the World Bank capital markets. I do not have a degree in business or economics, but from my general knowledge, I don't think this is very accurate. Um, Another thing is I wouldn't use this idiom and in terms of financial crunch. I would rather use the word crisis. So try to sound more serious and more academic. And not all idioms are appropriate for use in an academic essay. Just mind that. Then we have a bit of structure issues here, but I do understand the logic. I do. A recent research report shows that Egypt implemented the instructions of IMF, but the country is still facing fundamental issues which were supposed to be controlled by the IMF program implementation. Okay, I don't know why it's here. I don't think it's supposed to be here. So it should be controlled like this, right? This is correct. Okay, I like the example. This is great. However, you might add more cohesion to this paragraph because I'm not sure that all the ideas always connect perfectly. Um, you could easily say, for instance, and go on with the rest. But I really like your example. So you also need a therefore sentence. If you remember the formula for the essay that Ben explained in his course, you probably remember that each body paragraph has to end in a concluding sentence. And it would be great if you could conclude on the main idea of this paragraph. World has become the world. The world has become a global village and investors are harvesting their gains through investing around the globe. And this paragraph, this beginning, um, sounds completely disconnected from the previous paragraph. There is absolutely no connection. I mean, if I could cut it out and place it elsewhere, I think it would fit. So make sure that there is a smooth connection between body paragraphs. Investors are harvesting their gains, great vocabulary, through investing around the globe. Okay, sometime, sometimes, to maximize their returns or even to enter a market, you don't need the in. Investors use lobbying firms or undercover representatives uh, as members of country's cabinet to get amendments in prevailing laws or get excessive tax break. I wouldn't say get, I would say obtain. Get is not a word that you should be using in academic essays. Uh, I am not sure what you mean by prevailing here. Prevailing is not the word that you, uh, in in this context to perhaps you could say to pass amendments to laws or obtain excessive tax breaks. This often becomes bone of contention, the bone of contention. Okay, I agree with this, with the use of this idiom, between the government and capital market forces where outsiders win eventually due to their presence or influence their presence or influence in the core decision making committees. Okay, great ideas, absolutely great. So now conclude. So, what can we learn from this? Can we learn that we cannot trust the multinational corporations? Can we conclude that no government is ever clean? What exactly do you intend to do? Evidently, no, evidently like this. Capital forces have their high stakes in the work or in the functioning of a democratic, I guess you need to write democratic, country's government, and which is limiting the government's scope to deliver and work the good of their, and work for the good. Okay. I'm not sure that this sentence is a good conclusion. And evidently is not quite the word to finish this. So to conclude, I would like to underline or to conclude, the facts and examples provided above confirm that capital forces have their high stakes in the operation of a democratic country's government, which is limiting this government's scope to deliver and work for the good of their people. As a result, this they cannot be trusted because blah blah blah. So you have great ideas, absolutely great ideas, yet you need to have concluding sentences, work on the use of your vocabulary, certainly work on your grammar and spelling, but you have absolutely brilliant ideas and you have quite a logical essay structure. So I'm sure that with our recommendations, you can improve even more. Keep up the great work. And now let's have a look at your letter about the luggage. Dear Sir, Madam, in a series of unfortunate events, I have lost my luggage while traveling from Dubai to London in one of your flights, which was this, and this on the 28th of October on the 2019. Okay. For your information, I had submitted my check-in bag at the counter. Okay. So, um, let's do it like this. The first sentence in any letter should be the purpose of this letter. For example, dear Sir, Madam, I did I press track changes? I guess I did. Okay. I am writing to let's say request the resolution of the situation of my lost um, baggage. I don't know why I allowed this to get there. My lost baggage on on the flight from to number this and that. hmm Okay, in a series of the first sentence should be very clear. Oh, this letter is about this and that from to. So basically, you can transfer this information there. For your information, I had submitted my check-in bag, or probably my checked-in bag, or you can say I had checked in my bag at the counter and saw the customer representative putting the tag at the time of issuing issuing me boarding card. Okay. I do understand the information, but you really have to say it slightly differently. For your information, when I had submitted, when I checked my bag at the registration counter, the customer representative put the tag on it at that time when they issued me my boarding pass, not card pass. After landing, I think you have to say where exactly. I proceeded to the notified luggage belt to collect my bag, but it never showed up. This is a bit informal for a formal letter, but I couldn't see it there. I could not see it there. I discussed the circumstances with airport staff after staying there for 3 hours. Staying sounds like staying at a hotel. You can say I had to wait for 3 hours to discuss the circumstances of the loss with airport staff. After which they issued me a confirmation slip showing that the bag was never offloaded at the London airport in the first place. Oh, I do understand. I had been there. Okay. I am sure that you will have a reasonable explanation. Explanation is spelled like this. I'm sure that and I wouldn't say you will have. Um, I would say I am sure there will be a reasonable explanation for the situation which led to my bag missing in the transit, comma, but um, I require cash to purchase items for my personal use. I wouldn't say consumption. I have a list of items which were in the bag. Um, you should add their price too. And I am hopeful that this would help you ascertain great use the value of my belongings, and I will be able so that I will be able to expect immediate reimbursement from your end. Okay, you're trying to be very, very polite. That's great. That's absolutely great. You can reach me at, no, not on, at this phone number, or at um, this and this email during my stay in London until, not till, till is very informal, the 25th of November 2019. Okay. Regards. No, not regards. You said, dear sir, madam. This means you need to close with yours faithfully. Mohammad Afzal. Okay, great. Your full name. Absolutely awesome. Um, uh, Here, you'll need to say, I will be looking forward to your, and I would add prompt reply. Okay, that would be polite, right? That's a very traditional line to write before closing the letter. So I can see that you have a very good command of the formal style. That's great. Just make sure that you take care of minor things like prepositions here and there, a couple of articles, some sentence and structure and vocabulary use. As you can see, I haven't corrected everything in typing. I have pronounced the corrections, so I am sure that you will be able to track all the details of the corrections. Anyway, this is a great letter. Make sure that you keep up the great work. And just one little additional note that I would like to make. Make sure that you write less. Look at this size. If I could count this, you have 227 words. You have to write 150 words at least, at best 200, right? Let's say 210 words is tops. This is a bit too much. Perhaps you might remove a sentence here in this paragraph, or I don't know, somewhere else. But make sure that you don't exceed the word limit too much. Anyway, great work. Keep up the great work, and I'm sure that I will see more of your wonderful essay.